What's up guys, thank you very much for joining me again. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who has commented on my last video. The last video was quite sad, and for those who have not seen the last video, I'll leave a link in the description so you could actually watch that. So that week was quite disappointing for me, and because I've expedited the shedding season a lot faster, so I thought I would not be growing my graft back. So quickly, before I move on to this video, I want to give a shout out to everyone who has commented that video, and I'll see if I can actually put it on the screen here. So I can see here most of the comments related to because I did actually say that I've lost all of the grafts because of the downdraft, and I can see here a lot of people have commented to say that after 10 days the grafts are intact, so they don't actually disappear. I've just made the shedding season a lot faster, which normally goes through about month number 3. So I haven't finished my month number 3. I'm on actually month number 2.5. So this is 2.5. Straight away here, I've had at least 4 or 5 emails saying exactly the same thing. Do not worry, it's part of the process of this hair transplant. I've got a message here from Khalid Yunus. He said that it's 100% normal. After 10 days, transplant hair will be falling down. You don't lose any graft. Just be patient and wait for the next 3 months. So meaning that in the next 3 months, the graft will start to shine. And I am assuring you now, this message is 100% true, because I've started to notice under the skin of the layer, so the new hairs started to grow. And this is because the itchiness has started to increase, just like for those who do have beard. And when you shave, you know that after a certain period, you'll get the itchiness, especially underneath your neck. And that just means that the hair is about to grow. I'm feeling exactly the same on my head. I will share with you 360 view, so that way you could actually see. So this was a quick shout out to everyone who has commented on my last video. This is a Q&A video. So I'm going to play few audio questions, and these are the questions that most comments that have been asked. So let's quickly play the first question.
Hey bro, I wanted to ask you a question. Driving, so I hope you can hear me. But you went to Turkey to get this done. Did you consider the clinics in London? I've come across a couple reasonably priced, under 4 grand. One even does it for 2 grand. What was your reasoning there for going abroad when there were clinics in London which would do it for a very similar price to what you got in Turkey?
Right, so if I tackle this question, it's basically asking me, have I done my research in UK, and what were the outcome of my research, and why did I go to Turkey instead of doing my hair here in UK? Yes, short answer, yes I have, and I have not gonna lie to you, I've not gone to multiple agents. I've gone to one clinic that I felt quite confident, and I will leave that clinic details in the link. However, that clinic was quite pricey, and this hair clinic is based in Harley Street. It's dedicated for hairs only, and a lot of celebrities have gone there, including one of my favorite YouTuber that I follow in the fitness industry, Mike Thurston. And that's how I got to know this clinic itself. And I've had my consultation with one of the consultants there. And then straight away, when I went into pricing to understand how they actually package their pricing, I was quite shocked to hear that it wasn't something that I was looking in terms of the pricing, because it was way above my range. I was quoted per graft 48 pence, meaning if I go for around 3,000, 5,000 grafts, I'll be paying over £11,000. So that was quickly for me a no-go. And knowing that very popular in Turkey, where most of people are having quite good results. And the next question will go along with this again. So if I quickly play the next question, so that way you could actually see. So one reason, or the main reason that I didn't go for UK, is because of the price. Because in UK again, they do have a cheaper clinics, and if you consider UK labor is quite expensive. So if they're charging you really cheap, then the quality is going to be cheap as well. So that's something that I was quite concerned. And that's one of the main reasons I didn't go for UK. If I was going to have a hair transplant done in UK, then I would be going to the most premium places. Just like where I went to Turkey, this particular clinic, it's one of the most expensive clinic in Turkey. And you could understand that it's not actually cheap. For those who live in Turkey or who are traveling from abroad, it's not cheap. But for me, traveling from UK is a lot cheaper. So that's one of the main reasons. So let's go to the second question.
The other question I have is something related to me. When you got your hairline redrawn, you said on YouTube you got it drawn lower than you originally had it. And this has given you a sort of arch hairline, which I guess was different to your original hairline, which is more similar to a Norwood. Has this changed your appearance to the extent that others are noticing it? One of the concerns I have is, yes, I'd like to get my hairline a bit lower, but the only way to do that would be to create a similar arch. But that would change almost my face in a lot of ways. And I'm slightly uncomfortable of such a significant change. Because although, yes, I want a better hairline, I don't want to be a completely different person in terms of my appearance.
So this question was about the hairline. I did a dedicated video relating to hairline. Yes, I have changed my hairline, so I've actually dropped it a little bit lower. I don't know, for those who actually are watching this video and do know me personally, so they would be able to tell the difference between where I was before and where I am now. But for those who don't know me, they wouldn't be able to know any difference. So his main concern is that, was there some sort of a deformation? Like, what has my appearance changed? Up to a certain extent, I would say yes. But again, when you have your hair transplant, things don't change straight away. It takes time, so it takes about 6 months. So in 6 months, people have been seeing you. Obviously, they won't notice any difference. And again, to drop your hairline, your consultant will obviously try to persuade you to not drop up to a certain extent, because if I just squeeze my eyebrow upwards, so if by squeezing that, they can see where the muscles are, so they wouldn't be able to drop it if you have a lot of muscles up there. So they did ask me to squeeze like this, and I'll leave a link in the description for those who want to watch that specific video that goes a bit in detail about the hairline. So yes, I have dropped it, and also my hairline used to be some sort of a McDonald's, a curved, and now I've gone a little bit more straight, Hollywood style, I would say. Again, in terms of changing my appearance, it has changed slightly, but not to an extent that looks a little bit more cosmetically overdone. So moving on to question number 3.
You know, talking about the quality, one thing I've learnt whilst researching this over the last few weeks is that most of these clinics tend to talk about their expertise, particularly dealing with curly or African hair. Some clinics go as far as to put their doctor's name on the websites and talk about their experience. However, this procedure, because it takes pretty much the entire day, it is done predominantly by the technicians or the assistants, who are nameless and faceless, and sometimes they don't have any particular degrees or qualifications. They're just assistants, similar to a dentist assistant, right? Their role is to harvest the hair, then insert the follicles into the incisions. The doctor's role is relatively short.
So in short, this question is about the actual team who are going to transplant your hair. They're going to take out the donor area, and then who are actually inputting the transplanted hair itself. So obviously the consultant who is going to oversee this, certain clinics there are some consultants who would do part of it, and then the technicians will take on. The technicians are a team of people who you do not have a record of. You don't know about their qualification. Is it a black market where they are just hired and trained and they're carrying on with their day-to-day? The clinic that I went to is Asli Tarcan. They are well known. I do not have some sort of a proof to present to you that those people who transplanted the hair, that they are more clinically approved. But I am going by my experience and from what I've heard, family and friends who actually had this place, the surgery in this place. The main reason I actually went to this specific clinic is because I know a family friend who went to this clinic about a year ago, and his experience was astonishing. So that's one of the main reasons that I went there. And because there's a lot of videos around YouTube, people who went to a specific clinic like this, and they talked about their positive feedback. Of course, there are some negative about it. My main negative from this clinic was that some of the technicians, they did not speak English, and this was quite daunting for us to communicate with them. It would have been nice if they actually spoke English. But other than that, the clinical care side of it, they were really good. They were really helpful. They were willing to go above and beyond. So my specific consultant was good. And again, my consultant was not the person who transplanted my hair. They're the technician. And this is where it becomes a little bit more graded area where are the technicians qualified. I'm going by, they've got a lot of experience and they do a lot of these type of surgeries on a day-to-day. And because they have been doing these day-to-day and they have that experience. And the next question is quite interesting. So if you just listen to it.
So yeah, the doctor does the incisions, at least from my experience, what I've read. It may be different with you. And they don't, stay there for, longer than it needs to be beyond that point. So your actual experience tends to be quite short with the, the quote, experience slot. And maybe this explains why there are so many varying degrees of results in a lot of these clinics. You went to Asli Tarcan, right? I see some really good results there. But you can also find people online complaining about their results. And it's not necessarily down to a reflection of the clinic per se. It may be just down to a reflection of who that technician was on that particular day. And unfortunately, they don't put the names on these after photos. So you can't say, hey, I want, Muhammad, that technician, I want him to do my transplant. They don't do that. And so in some ways it's down to luck, isn't it? Luck of the draw.
So this question is absolutely amazing. In fact, in Asli Tarcan, the consultant does not do the incision or whatsoever. The consultant is just there to oversee your care. I've had a senior technician who actually did the incisions and the implanting, and then the same individual with a technician assistant were harvesting the grafts from the back. So there were two people. So again, this question goes by those individuals. Were they actually qualified? And it's per se again saying that it's down to luck because they've got huge experience. Whereas if I said, okay, I've had a really good result, and then you go there and then, or someone else says, no, they've had a horrible experience. And that's because the technician who did it wasn't as experienced as the technician who did for me. So this is where you are going by luck, and also you're taking the risk because you do not have the full confirmation of are they qualified. In short, again, when you are researching, and for those who have not had this hair transplant done in anywhere, regardless of which country, I would urge you to first look at most of the audience. What are they saying? Are they saying a lot of positive and there's a bit of negative? With any care, there's always the risk, but I'm glad that so far I am having a good result, and I haven't actually reached 3 months and my hair transplant has been going quite fair, to be saying. So I just want to give you a quick overview of my hairline. Again, if you can see, my hairline is a straight hairline, but if you go a little bit more deep, I don't know if I can focus, the hairline itself, it's not a straight line, it's a bit of a zigzag, and this is where I wanted to go a bit more natural. So if I look down, you can see straight away the temples are still a bit light area, but if I get closer, you can see that the hair started to grow, and I'm really glad to say that I can see underneath of those massive hairs. I can actually see new hairs coming up very shortly. And if I show it on the side, so the donor area and the non-donor area, you can see a bit of grade difference. And then at the back. And then on the other side. So you can see straight away, these are the things that you could expect up to 2.5 months. And I'm quite confident to say that in the next few months, my hair will be growing a lot stronger, and I can see that the progress that I've been having. Thank you very much for joining me again. If you haven't seen my last video about me going a bit of a ran down sad motion, I'll leave a link up here, and if you want to watch that, go ahead and watch that. And for those of you who have not seen my first video about this hair transplant itself, I'll leave a link in the description, and that video goes on about on me speaking on a different language. However, I've left a subtitle for you, so that way you could actually see how my entire journey was. Till next time, stay legend.